God brought an unbelieving man to his knees. The story of Richard Gallagher and the two cats. According to Gallagher, the incident happened the night before his first scheduled meeting with a woman he refers to by the pseudonym of Julia, a self-described high priestess of a satanic cult. Around 3 a.m., his wife and him were jolted awake by a loud screeching noise. They found their 2 cats furiously going at one another, scratching and crawling like champion prize fighters. Gallagher and his wife were mystified by the unprovoked attack. They had to grab the cats and separate them into 2 completely different rooms. Even after being separated, the cats continued to growl and hiss at each other. The couple later went back to bed, assuming it was a one-off event caused by something mundane. Bad cat food, too many catnip sniffs. But the following morning, the priest Gallagher was consulting with brought Julia to his office for the first time. And her first words were, "How'd you like those cats last night?" This taunt, which left Gallagher a little taken back, convinced him the incident was a paranormal attack rather than a coincidence. Gallagher claims he later obtained a letter Julia had sent to a priest in which she allegedly wrote, "We raised a little hell in Dr. Gallagher's house last night." And just like that, in a moment, an academic had his eyes opened wide. God showed him what is really there, or at least to an academic, the possibility of what is there. And this is the incident that changed the trajectory of his path. Okay, what a fun, spooky story. But there's a reason that I'm telling it. I've heard the story of these moments often, where God brings the knowledge of this world to its knees. I was watching the Confessional podcast, which I will link, when I was introduced to a story about Dr. Richard Gallagher, and it was a very familiar one that I'd heard, read about many times. And I even got to be very close to a man I knew personally who was highly academic, highly accredited, who was also brought to his knees by God. Somebody was a unbeliever. So I had to do some research because I thought Dr. Gallagher's experience is one that should be shared. I think it sums up these moments many of us have. And who better than an accredited doctor? When I asked AI for a little more research on Dr. Gallagher, this is what I got. The credibility of psychiatrist Dr. Richard Gallagher is highly controversial. Depends on whether one accepts supernatural explanations for human behavior. While he has impeccable medical credentials, his embrace of demonic possession as a diagnosis is widely rejected by the scientific community. And I had a feeling I was going to get this answer. Because of the world we live in. And the worldly idea is that supernatural anything does not exist. So my next logical question to get past the brick wall that I hit was, what was his credibility before the incident? Bear with me. Prior to his public accounts of demonic possession, his credibility was based on highly respected academic and his clinical career. Within regular, normal mainstream media, he was conventionally successful and a reputable psychiatrist. He graduated Phi Beta Kappa, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, from Princeton University with a degree in classics. He then attended Yale University for a medical degree, where he completed his psychiatric residency. He became a professor of clinical psychiatry at New York Medical College and a psychoanalyst on the facility of Columbia University. But in his mainstream career, he was a highly experienced clinician. For many years, he served as a psychiatrist, emergency and crisis director for Westchester, New York, demonstrating his expertise in conventional psychiatric care. The operative word here is conventional. When he was just a man of the world, he was highly renowned. But as soon as Dr. Gallagher turned to God, the world turned against him. Now, mind you, his career began in the 1970s, and the incident didn't even happen until the 90s, later 90s. So a massive chunk of Dr. Gallagher's career was not influenced by the spiritual world until the incident. And that's something I've noticed. There's always an incident. Sometimes it's something terrifying, like Dr. Gallagher's experience. And sometimes it's something beautiful and awe-inspiring, like what the man I personally knew went through. But either way, it is an incident that brings someone whose mind lives mostly in this world to God. I just want you, and even myself, to think of a time in your life that did not make sense. Something that was a coincidence that literally shook your being when you get those bumpy feelings on your skin. Do you think that maybe, just maybe, it was God bringing you to your knees?